Not Forgotten is finally back after 3 years, and since the release of the final shape, I've managed to rack up over 500 kills on my roll. So, in today's video, we're gonna find out if Not Forgotten can compete with the top 140s of the modern day, how insanely easily it is to obtain Not Forgotten, and finally, figuring out exactly how to find the most success with the new 140 RPM precision frames as a keyboard and mouse player. Subscribe if you want to, and let's jump right into the comparisons. Now, if you don't know, Lunas and Not Forgotten are both precision frames, which means they both have essentially non-existent recoil when compared to their adaptive frame counterparts and a significant bump to airborne effectiveness at base. On its own, this isn't anything special. There are plenty of very solid precision frame hand cannons. It's when you look at their RPM that things start to get interesting. They're both 140s, meaning they get all the previously mentioned benefits precisions provide, while also getting the generally higher range, higher damage, and faster TTK from 140s. So, Lunas and Not Forgotten have some inherent benefits or differences when compared to the adaptive frame 140s. But before we go comparing Lunas and Not Forgotten to every top energy adaptive frame hand cannon, let's see which of these two is actually better. Now, there are two different versions of Luna's HAL. One that is a curated role like Not Forgotten, with set stats and perks, and a reprise version that has completely customizable stats and a wide array of pretty solid perks. For the sake of this video, I will only be referencing the reprise Luna's HAL, as otherwise it's not much of a comparison. Not Forgotten comes from the same place, for the same price, with better stats and the same perks as Luna's HAL's curated role. So unless you're collecting, never buy the Lunas from the kiosk. Always go with Not Forgotten, it's just better. When comparing Not Forgotten to the randomly rolled Luna's HAL, by far the biggest strength Not Forgotten has is its ease of obtainability. The only requirement someone needs, to my knowledge, to obtain Not Forgotten is 150,000 Glimmer. This is one of, if not the easiest way to obtain weapons in the game. So when we compare Not Forgotten to the perfectly rolled Luna's HAL, it has essentially the exact same stats. It's hard not to recommend. Now, regardless of that, I still do prefer Luna's HAL. It has access to significantly better perk combos like Slide Shot Magnificent HAL if you want to go with Magnificent HAL, or Slide Shot Opening Shot, or Slide Shot Eye of the Storm if you just want a consistency roll like myself. That isn't to say Not Forgotten's perks are bad, I just don't find Zen Moment to be nearly as impactful as Slide Shot when combined with Magnificent HAL, due to Slide Shot reloading the magazine without converting your precision kill stacks into Magnificent HAL, which allows you to always have enough bullets to build up a 2-tap regardless of how many shots you miss or body shot kills you get. More information on this in my Luna's HAL video, which will be linked down below. Not Forgotten is also lacking enhanceable perks and an origin trait, which isn't necessarily the biggest deal, but it's definitely something to consider either way. So, Not Forgotten has comparable stats in the same archetype Luna's does, all while being a curated role you don't have to grind for, with the only requirement being 150,000 Glimmer. Regardless, if you have a well-rolled Luna's, especially with consistency perks like Slide Shot, Opening Shot, or Eye of the Storm, I would definitely say that it's the better option. But considering how easy Not Forgotten is to obtain, we might as well see how it stacks up against the best 140s in the energy slot. When taking a look at the stats, Not Forgotten holds up pretty well. It doesn't have the range the stat monsters Exalt, Truth, and Palindrome do, and it's lacking a lot of handling, but it has passable stats where it counts. On top of that, it also has the upper hand when it comes to airborne effectiveness, with Luna's being the only option that even comes close. Something that I would definitely take into consideration if you're the kind of player that finds themselves in the air often. So, Not Forgotten has passable stats when it comes to a 140, depending upon what you're looking for. But most importantly, how are its perks? Well, like I mentioned before, it's lacking enhanced perks and an origin trait, which admittedly isn't the biggest deal as long as the third and fourth columns are solid. Unfortunately, Not Forgotten's third and fourth column perks are okay, but don't synergize in any meaningful way, and considering how good some of these other hand cannon perks options are, they really don't compete. If you want a consistency roll, which is what I would recommend, go with Exalt Truth, Cantata, Nation, Lunas, Palindrome, really any option works. And if you want to go with the Magnificent HAL roll, grab a Slide Shot Lunas. It is significantly better. So Not Forgotten isn't necessarily the best option, but it's by far the easiest to obtain, considering it's a curated role with fairly solid stats that doesn't require pretty much any grinding at all. But for a lot of you, Not Forgotten won't even be a consideration due to its different precision frame archetype, making it feel weird to use, especially if you're on keyboard and mouse. So, I'm going to show you how I, a keyboard and mouse player with over 2,000 kills across 140 RPM precision frames, gets the most out of them. My main and biggest piece of advice is to forget pretty much everything you know about 140s when it comes to recoil control. Precision frames, as shown by Cami, tend to hide targets immediately after shooting. Dragging down slightly after every shot, despite how useless it may feel due to the small amount of recoil, greatly helps this, allowing you to more clearly see your target, on top of making it easier to land your next headshot if you do it correctly. This might sound very simple, but when I started using Lunas again during its reprisal, I found myself either massively overcorrecting because I was used to an adaptive frame 140 or not controlling the recoil at all, as the weapon made it feel like I didn't need to. So just try to control the recoil without overcorrecting, and precision frames should start feeling a lot better pretty quickly. Thank you guys so much for the recent support on the channel. Love seeing all of your beautiful faces, and have an amazing day. Bye.